Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio, and today I've got a country demo recording that was recorded by my good friend James Alton Hutchison, who passed away not too long ago here, about a month ago. So I thought I would take one of his demos and try to make it sound really professional and big. This is going to be kind of similar to the video I did about taking a simple mix and making it sound big and professional. So if you missed that video, I'll put a link to that one at the end of this video and in the video description. I'm going to take one of James's songs. This one's called Thing for You, and I'm going to do a hybrid mix with some plugins and the analog console and outboard gear and make this song sound really, really good in tribute to my friend James Alton Hutchison. Now, James used to be a drummer back when I first met him. He was in kind of a blues and rock and roll band called the Hip Shakers, and he played drums with that band for many years until sometime in the 2000s he picked up the acoustic guitar and started writing and singing country songs. James and I worked in the studio on 3 or 4 separate occasions recording different batches of songs. He would always come in with good songs, and we basically recorded most of the stuff here. The tracks that you're going to hear today, the vocals and his acoustic guitar were cut live at the same time, and then the drums, bass, electric piano, and electric guitars were overdubbed. So that's what you're hearing, is basically James performing the song live with the other things added to it later. The song I have today is called Thing for You by the late James Alton Hutchison, a good friend of mine. This song was recorded in 2015 before I had the current studio, but that's another story. Today we're going to mix the song through the analog console, the Soundcraft Sapphire. I'm going to use some analog outboard gear as well as some plugins in the box, making this a truly hybrid mix. So the main goal with this is to take a fairly sparse mix, there's not a ton of instrumentation in this, and make it sound big and professional. I made a previous mixing video doing something similar, so I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one and in the video description for you to check out. Going over some of the analog outboard gear that I'm using on this mix, I'm using my ART TCS Twin Compressor Systems. I'm using both of those. So one of the units is being used on kick and snare, and then the other one is being used on an electric guitar track and on the lead vocal track. And there's a screenshot of those that are labeled, and you can look at these settings. These screenshots in the videos, at least all my recent videos of the device that I'm talking about. So, pause the video, check out those screenshots if you want exact specifics on settings. And in other videos, sometimes I actually talk about the specific settings. So we have the ART TCS Twin Compressor System on the kick and the snare. On the bass guitar, of course, I'm using the Urei LA-10 compressor limiter. I love this thing on bass guitar. It has a way of really rounding the bass tone off in a good way, making it sit in the mix and being able to control it without it getting lost in the mix or being over compressed or losing the high end or the dynamics of the bass part. So that's on the bass guitar. So the other challenge with this mix is making these acoustic mics and the lead vocal mic work together and not against each other, since there is some vocal bleed on the acoustic mics and vice versa. The electric piano, I'm not doing really anything in the analog domain other than adding some of the reverb from the Yamaha Rev 500 there. Most of this stuff is analog in this mix, but there are a few things in the box, especially this lead guitar part and the lead vocal. But let's play the mix, and then I'll talk about the other aspects of this that are in the box.
Watched you sleeping in the bed today. Girl, you had the sweetest look on your face. Gotta tell you, got a thing for you. Brushed your hair back, smelled your skin, touched your soft lips, caressed your chin. Gotta tell you, got a thing for you. Just laying here by your side, waiting on the sun to shine, waiting for you to open up your eyes. Look at me, I've got a thing for you. I've got a thing for you. And you feel it when I touch your face, feel it when I kiss your lips.
We're just filling out the low end of that with that shorter release on the kick drum. So that kick drum really has like that kind of a pillowy sound, but it also kind of sounds like it's exploding a little bit or blossoming. I like that sound because it fills in the low end between the kick drum hits. The bass guitar is also doing a really good job of filling out that low end. We had two mics on the acoustic guitar, a Sennheiser 421 and a Shure SM57, and I have those panned slightly to make that acoustic guitar a little bit wider. We've also got some EQ on the acoustic guitar. EQ is slightly different, and there's no reverb on the acoustic guitar. There's also no reverb on the drums. I actually had a little bit of reverb on one of the tom mics that I was not aware of just then. So that's interesting. It sounded pretty good. So I'll pull that back a little bit, but I guess I'll leave some reverb on just the right side of the tom stem. I'm not sure what to do there. I'll leave that on there, but mostly I don't have any reverb on the drums. I did not intend to have reverb on the drums anyway, but apparently there was a touch of reverb. Why can't I say reverb today? What's going on with that, guys? God. The electric guitar is just a rhythm guitar. It's not real busy, but I'm using the ART TCS Twin Compressor System on this electric guitar track, and I don't remember which guitar or amp this was that we used on this track. That's 7-8 years ago. So let's hear that though. So we start out with the acoustic guitar, and it's panned, so you've got a little bit of stereo width there with just the acoustic, and then the electric right in the center. So when that piano comes in, the track widens a little bit more. And then when the drums come in, even though I don't have very much reverb except for that mistaken bit on the tom track there, it widens the mix even more because I think I used a spaced pair for the overhead, so the drum kit sounds fairly wide, and it's just really cool. I'm digging it. So let's go ahead and hear James's vocal track by itself. James was a good singer and a good writer, and he was really direct about the way that he sang and the things that he wrote about. His lyrics make a lot of sense, and they are subjects and things that everyone just about can relate to. And that is kind of a cornerstone of country music, is having relatable content in the lyrics. And I think everyone can relate to to the lyrics of this song. So let's hear James sing this. Now remember, this was tracked at the same time as the acoustic guitars, so you're going to hear acoustic guitar bleed. And we've got the ART TCS Twin Compressor System, and on the vocal track it's being used with the optical compression first and then the VCA compression. So that's on his voice too, as well as a touch of the Yamaha Rev 500 reverb on a basic plate setting. I think it's about 1.8 seconds. But of course, screenshots are always here in the video. As I'm talking, I'm putting up pictures of stuff so you can see the exact settings. So let's hear James sing this song.
I watched you sleeping in the bed today, and girl, you had the sweetest look on your face. I gotta tell you, I got a thing for you.
The vocal track sounds pretty good in spite of the bleed of the acoustic guitar. When I tracked this vocal, I tracked it with the ribbon mic, probably my modified MXL R144, and the vocal was tracked pretty hot. So the acoustic bleed on the vocal track is not too bad. Same thing with the acoustic guitar. When we recorded this, I used 2 dynamic mics on the acoustic, so they're not quite as sensitive. That way there's not quite as much of the vocals in these acoustic tracks. I'm going to play the bass guitar because this is really holding down a lot of the low end along with the kick drum, so I'll probably bring the drums in along with the bass, but let's start out and hear just the bass guitar with the Urei LA-10. I've done a touch of EQ to the bass guitar. I'm boosting a little bit of low mids and lows and a little bit of high mids just so that the articulation of the bass line is not getting lost, because the bass line in this case is a really well played bass part. It really moves around enough to add some interest to the song. So let's hear that. Got a thing for you. The bass sounds really good. I tried to adjust the release of the compressor on the bass guitar to kind of go with the tempo of the song. And in this case, we want those long notes to stay there to help the low end stay together in between the attack of the next note, or in between the attacks of the notes is a better way to put that, so that's more understandable. Excuse me for that crazy bit of stuff. So we're just pinning the bass down. Just play with the release time on the bass guitar, and that's going to vary depending on the tempo of the song and the style of the song. In this case, kind of ended up with a medium to slow release, And I actually increased the attack on this a little bit after I soloed the track because there's a little bit of string noise and stuff, and a little bit faster attack kind of helps even that out, even though I wasn't noticing it that much in the overall mix. Maybe I should have just left that alone because it was working fine in the context of the entire mix, which is really what's important. But when I soloed it just now for this demo, I heard a little bit of nastiness on the front edge of the attack of the bass guitar notes, and so I moved the attack time of the compressor, made it a little bit faster, and that seems to work okay. Moving on from my compression on the bass guitar crazy business there, I'm going to go down here to this electric guitar that comes in at the very end of the song, just playing some little fill lines. It's nothing really complicated. And I'm going to talk about what I'm doing in the box with this guitar. There's nothing being done to it here on the console with the EQ or with any outboard gear. This is purely a plug-in in the box. So let's hear that. And the secret weapon of choice there in the box is the Waves Factory Echo Cat plugin. It's the only thing on this electric guitar part. This is actually a mono track, and I just threw the Echo Cat on it and then sent it out to 2 channels since the Echo Cat is a stereo tape delay plugin, and that's what we got. Now this combines really well with this electric piano, so let's hear the two of those together during that little kind of outro section. Wow, it starts to remind me a little bit of something like the Black Crowes, but it's really cool. I love that electric piano. That part was actually played by our good buddy Heath Rogers, that we've seen him many times here in videos on the channel. So that was Heath's contribution to this song back in 2015 when we recorded this with James. I've got a little bit of console EQ on James's lead vocal. I have a little bit of 12K being added, a little bit of 6K, and I'm boosting a little bit of low mids as well, just to make that sound a little bit bigger and to make it fit with the other instruments in the mix so that his voice really stands out above everything like it's supposed to, because that's really the style of this song anyways. It's a singer-centered song. You know, we've done a pretty good job here in the mix and making everything sound lush and wide and professional and really good, and also putting that star vocal right on top of the mixer. You can really hear what he's singing about and his voice and how passionate he was about the songs that he sang. So now I'm going to go ahead and play through the entire song so you can hear James without me interrupting and talking about the mix anymore.
in the bed today. Girl, you had the sweetest look on your face. Gotta tell you, I got a thing for you. I brushed your hair back, smelled your skin, touched your soft lips, caressed your chin. Gotta tell you, got a thing for you. Just laying here by your side, waiting on the sun to shine, waiting for you to open up your eyes. Look at me, I've got a thing for you. I've got a thing for you. Can't you feel it when I touch your face? Feel it when I kiss your lips. Touch your face with my fingertips. I've got a thing for you. Got a thing for you. Just laying here by your side, waiting on the sun to shine, waiting for you to open up your eyes and look at me. I've got a thing for you. I've got a thing for you. Can't you feel it when I touch your lips? Can't you feel it when I kiss your face? Can't you feel it when I kiss your lips? Kiss your face. Got a thing for you. Got a thing for you. Got a thing for you. Got a thing for you.
There are a few things going on in the box that I promised I would tell you about. One thing I'm using the Softube tape plugin, which I've done many times in mixing videos here on the channel and on mixes that I've mixed here in the studio. So that's on all the drum tracks. I think include, no, not the overheads. It's on all the shells. The drum shells have the Softube tape plugin. That's set on the B setting, and of course screenshot with the exact settings that I'm using on that plugin. So here's the settings for the Slate virtual tape machine that I'm using on both of these acoustic guitar tracks. Well, it's the same performance, 2 mics. So this is the Slate VTM virtual tape machine is what you've been hearing on these tracks. Echo Cat tape delay plugin on that little lead guitar, fill guitar part at the end of the song. James was an awesome songwriter and musician, and obviously, he meant what he sang about. You can hear that in this vocal track on this song of his that we mixed today in the video. It's been pretty cool. It's a good song. I'm gonna miss James. He was a good guy. I hope you all enjoyed hearing James's song and hearing the new mix that I did on the console and with the analog equipment and a few plugins. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check all the links in the video description that I talked about, as well as links that go to help support this channel, as well as liking this video and subscribing to the Twin Creek Audio YouTube channel. I hope everyone out there has a wonderful and excellent day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond. Whatever it is you're having, have a good one. Thanks for watching.
Hard for you to say. 3 words, and you can turn and walk away. Face to face and toe to toe, always the same old thing. 3 words. Happiness, isn't that what you're searching for? True love, do they make that anymore? Peeling back the layers of heartbreak and doubt. Save your sorry, save yourself. Just 3 words you just can't say. Just 3 words I need to hear you say, to make it right in my mind. I missed my chance, let your love slip away. That's not gonna happen this time. Just 3 words could change our lives. Yes, girl, just 3